before. Evans finally found his range, and he's now leading 5-4 in the second set. Kuznetsov serving to stay in that set.
And another Brit out on court 12 at the moment as well. Kyle Edmund, how's he getting on? Gigi Salmon.
Well, it's all to do for the 19-year-old who's a set down to the gentleman 8 years his senior and nearly 200 places higher in the rankings, Andreas Heidemauer. Edmund's had his chances, but the Austrian is proving too strong for the British wildcard as things stand. Heidemauer leads by a set. It's 5-all with Edmund having just saved 2 set points.
Thank you, Gigi. Earlier on, James Ward, Dan Cox and Johanna Konta all fell at the first hurdle, the British trio, as did the women's seeds, Sloane Stephens and Sam Stosur. A happier day for Victoria Azarenka. She made it into round 2, along with David Ferrer, Thomas Berdych and Marcos Baghdatis in the men's draw. And of course, Andy Murray as well. First up here on centre court this lunchtime. The honour of opening proceedings fell to the defending champion. He eased through the gears, seeing off Belgium's David Goffin 6-1, 6-4, 7-5. And afterwards he was asked if the occasion had affected him at all.
I was nervous. I was nervous yesterday. I was probably a bit more nervous yesterday than I was today. But yeah, it does help that the nerves, like if you can get ahead early, like I did at the beginning of the match, I got an early break. That helps settling down a little bit. But normally after the first couple of games, you tend to settle down a bit anyway.
So Andy Murray happy enough after his opening victory here. Mark Woodford is sitting alongside me on centre court. 5 times a doubles champion here, Mark. You will have come back to defend your title on 4 of those occasions, because they were all in a row, weren't they? So tell us about the nerves and the different dynamic that comes into play when you walk out as the boss man.
Well, you know, for Andy, he's opening up the tournament. He's starting off Wimbledon 2014. So once the draw had come out, everyone then knows what day they're playing. It's such a big occasion for him, and as he mentioned in that clip even yesterday, he had to sleep on it as well. That was the one chance for David Goffin. If he was going to get his nose in front, was the early stages. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and Andy Murray survives that big first round match.
Yeah, Murray looking good earlier on today. You can hear a lot more from Andy Murray here on 5 Live from 7 o'clock, his interview with Russell Fuller. And just a reminder here on centre court at the moment, Jonathan Djokovic leading by 2 sets to love against Andrei Golubov, early stages of set 3.
Thank you, Alistair. Yes, a full hour of coverage from Wimbledon in an hour's time, and then Mark Chapman after 8 o'clock with all the build-up to Brazil against Cameroon. Brazil, a victory should be good enough to top Group A. Mexico against Croatia, though, all to play for in that match. We'll keep you in touch with events in Recife. Now then, another wicket at Headingley. Pat Murphy.
Robson's gone. Saying a rather loose shot outside the off stump, not in context with the situation. Prasad, again the bowler, taken at slip. He has gone for 20. England have lost 4 wickets in 4 overs. They're 50 for 3. They're chasing 350. There's half an hour to go of normal time. The ultimate effrontery will be if they claim the extra half an hour and try to get the wickets and wrap it up tonight. That'd be funny.
Well, not. Thank you, Pat. It's just after 6 o'clock with you across the UK. 2 o'clock here on a bright and beautiful Brazilian afternoon. Our focus for now is in Group B. Spain lead Australia 1-0 at half-time. Doesn't really matter, but Spain looking to end this disappointing World Cup on a high. And the match that does matter, we're heading there now for the second half in Sao Paulo. Holland against Chile with Neil Lennon and John Murray.
And before the second half gets underway here in Sao Paulo, we're going to see a change, a Chilean change. Jean Beausejour is going to come on for Felipe Gutierrez, who came into the side for his first start at this World Cup for this match. So Beausejour, who of course we know well from Wigan Athletic and with Birmingham before that, is on to play on the left-hand side for Chile. So second half about to get underway, and Dutch unchanged, Sillessen in goal, a back 5 of Janmaat, De Vrij, Vlaar, Blind and Kout. Dirk Kout playing as a sort of left wing back, midfield of De Jong and Wijnaldum, and Sneijder behind Lens and Robben, who provided the thrilling moment of what hasn't been an outstanding game so far in terms of excitement, when Arjen Robben ran through from the halfway line in the first half and shot narrowly wide after leaving Chileans trailing in his wake. The Chilean side in a moment But here is Lenz on the left-hand side. 0-0 as the second half gets underway. Count now receives it. Right-footed ball into the penalty area. Dangerous. Headed away by Medel as Wijnaldum made the run into the penalty area and so very nearly got his head to it. The Dutch pressing in the early stages. Kout having just delivered an excellent ball into the penalty area. Up it goes to Robin, who loses out. And Chile bring it away with Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez is around Blint, and now he's flying down into the right-hand corner. Has a little look up, plays it into the penalty area, but got it all wrong. And stands there, rubbing his head vigorously in a sort of Reeves and Mortimer style.
Well, we might have seen a little cameo of what's to come. You know, it was a good start by Holland. Great ball in by Coit and Wijnaldum getting in the box for the first time in the game. Almost got on the end of it. And then what Bosajura will bring is pace down the left-hand side. Vargas is going through the central. And instead of having a midfield player playing with the two strikers, i.e. and Vargas and Sanchez, we've now got three attacking players for Chile. Looks far more offensive. I mean, Chile have nothing to lose. If they draw the game, then they're going to play Brazil. So they might as well go and try and win it now.
So Chile with Bravo in goal, Silva, Medel and Jara, their three central defenders. Isla and Mena are the wing backs. Aranguiz, Diaz, and now Bosajura with Sanchez and Vargas. Free kick for a foul on Alexis Sanchez near the halfway line. So free kick to Chile that Isla just steers back to Medel in the centre circle. Medel looks up, goes for one of those cross-field passes out towards the left-hand side, and Bosajura, who was beaten in the air by Jan Mat, who headed it out for a throw-in closer to the halfway line. Chile get going again, and the referee, I think the assistant flagged there that the throw had been taken in the wrong place, which it had been. It was taken probably 15 yards away from where it should have been. So off they go again, Chile, and Medel looks to the right here, but then turns and goes back towards the left-hand side to Jara. And Chile patient here. Medel, bright yellow boots, passes the ball behind Silva, and he has to scamper back a few yards before striking this right-footed ball over the top down the right-hand side, aiming for Alexis Sanchez. Blint wins it in the air, but Alexis Sanchez wins it on the ground, and he's got Isla making a run, and Alexis Sanchez tries to find him with the pass. It's just cut out. Back to Alexis Sanchez. Step over. Then again, beats Kout, and then in comes Blint with a challenge. He did take the ball before he landed on Sanchez, so no free kick, which is met with howling derision by the thousands and thousands of Chileans inside the stadium here in Sao Paulo. And then a free kick to the Dutch for a challenge, I think, on Snyder, who's just been caught there. So it's a free kick to Chile.
Brilliant defending from Vlar earlier. There's a great run by Isla, round it back at Blind. Vlar read the pass from Sanchez and intercepted it brilliantly.
The free kick to the Dutch after Diaz just left a little bit of something on Snyder, who's okay. He's back on his feet after a short period of writhing around. Holland 0, Chile 0. So it is, as it stands, it would be Holland against the runners-up in Brazil's group, and Chile against the winners of that section. And tonight you can hear commentary on Brazil against Cameroon, which will come live from the stadium in Brasilia with Robbie Savage alongside Darren Fletcher. And we do have the capability to switch the commentary if the need should arise to the Croatia-Mexico game, which is the other final match in Group A. But Holland 0, Chile 0 here. And a throw-in to the Dutch on the right-hand side. The Dutch all in orange tonight, just like their supporters in the stand to our left. Chile played away. Snyder, it hits him, bounces down, and in fact I think Snyder used an arm there to control it. So a free kick to Chile, halfway inside their own half. So the Dutch supporters are vastly outnumbered by the Chileans, who are everywhere. I've done two of their matches now so far, and they really take over wherever they go. Something like 15,000 or more have come to Brazil for these group stages, and if they go further, well, let's just see how many of them stay here and watch on. Schneider with a pass downfield left-footed, then Wijnaldum gets a header to it, stretching Robin, who's the Dutch captain for this game. Back to Wijnaldum, whose pass doesn't find Robin, overhit it, and then cleared away from the back. Chile having to defend again, and across comes Medel to make sure he does so. Jan Maat allows the ball to bounce out for a throw on the far side of the field. So Holland 0, Chile 0. We just, producer John Southall has just spent a bit of time having a detailed look at Chile's record. I suggested to you, Neil, that Brazil had a very much superior record, and that is how it is. Chile have not beaten Brazil for 14 years, and Brazil have won 9 of the last 10 meetings between the sides. And as well as the fact that Chile have been knocked out of their last 2 World Cups by Brazil, it was also Brazil who beat Chile in the semi-finals of their own World Cup back in 1962. And not only that, Chile's record international defeat, 7-0, was against, you guessed it, Brazil. So I think I was right when I said there might be a superiority thing going on.
I think you're spot on, and the fact you made the point earlier, Brazil haven't been beaten at home since 1975. I think that's an incredible home record to have at international level. But the one thing I will say about this Chile team, they seem to have great belief in themselves, John. And whoever comes out of this group and has to face Brazil, knowing the type of character or personality that Louis van Gaal is, I don't think he'd be afraid of this Dutch team playing Brazil either. But obviously I think he'll want to avoid it if he can.
Yes, it's all very well to talk about what's happened in the past, but this might very well be the best Chilean team that there's ever been.
Possibly. I quite like the cut of them. I like the body language, I like the way they play, I like their coach, the intensity they play at, and they play with great self-belief. And they've given every team in this tournament so far a real run for their money. I mean, they were exceptional against Spain, and I know Spain are probably on the wane, but in the main they've been the better team in this game so far as well.
That's Neil Lennon, former international footballer himself, of course, 40 caps for Northern Ireland. Just saw what was very close to an excellent pass through from Aranguiz from centre field for the run of Vargas, but hit it well, but just too much on it, and it was through to Sillessen, the goalkeeper. So it remains Holland 0, Chile 0 on BBC 5 Live, the home of Brazil 2014. And if you go to bbc.co.uk/World Cup, you can follow all of the matches. You can watch all of the Match of the Day live programmes on there, and wherever you go you can listen to all of 5 Live's commentaries on your mobile, your desktop, your tablet, and also your connected TV if you have all of those things. Here is Vlaar at the back for Holland, who wins a throw in as he is closed down. So a throw into the Dutch that Kout will take it, blonde hair, plastered to his head, even though conditions here are very, very good. Round about 20 degrees Celsius, the sun's still shining here in Sao Paulo, and Kout takes the throw, which bounces past Silva to Robben. Watch out, Chile. Robben, though, is quickly closed down by Mena, who came across from the left-hand side, and Chile are able to clear it away. Stretching header up towards Jan Maat. And now De Jong heads it down, and it'll run all the way back to goalkeeper Sillessen, who picks it up and underarms it out. And now De Vrij walks it forward, looks up, hits a long pass, aiming for Lens. No Robin van Persie tonight for the Dutch. He is suspended, so Lens plays. Schneider now takes it on, angles the ball to Lens just inside the penalty area on his right foot, tried to give it back to Schneider, who knew it was awkward and allowed it to drift over his shoulder down into the full-back position. Schneider does really well to keep it in, but then his infield pass is overhit, aiming for Jan Maat, and it's cleared out of play.
Disappointed Wesley Sneijder there. Normally you'd see him 20-25 yards out. It opened up for him, thought he might have had a pop a goal, tried to play a 1-2 with Lens, and it was too congested for that to be on. I'd have much preferred him to see him have a shot there.
Throw in for the Dutch. Out on the right-hand side, still a strip of shadow across the pitch. The rest of it in sunshine, the strip of shadow from the roof, the unfinished roof above the stadium. Here's Robben, now back to Schneider, whose pass is blocked by Vargas, out of play. It bounces there into the hoardings on the far side, the bright blue World Cup hoardings. And the throw-in is taken, but Mena turns and plays it away. Back to the Dutch though. Wijnaldum now towards the edge of the penalty area. Chile players in white in front of him, so he gives it back to Robben. Now Robben further back to the halfway line to De Vrij. The Chilean songs start up again, and now the ball is on the left hand side with Kout. Forward towards Lens, back again to Schneider, who tried to find that ball through to Kout, but it hit Alexis Sanchez instead, and the ball bounces out of play for what is a throw-in to Chile. So Holland 0, Chile 0, and still Spain winning 1-0 against Australia. There can't be long to go in the at Headingley on the 4th day of the test. We'll let you know what happens there. And in case you've just joined us and have been out of contact with the events during the course of the day, a little earlier Andy Murray comfortably won through to the second round on the first day of Wimbledon. We'll get an update from Wimbledon very shortly, but Chile coming forward with the ball on the left hand side. Here it is, up towards Aranguiz, who does well to keep it against Schneider, then plays it back for Alexis Sanchez to shoot from 30 yards, but it whizzes away over the top of Sillerson's crossbar, not threatening his goal. So, to Wimbledon and Alistair Eakin for the latest.
Well, I can tell you, John, that we have some British success here at Wimbledon, and it's not just Andy Murray. Naomi Brodie is into the second round here. She's playing on a wild card, and she's beaten Timea Babos of Hungary, ranked 92 in the world, 71 places higher than herself, and she's done it the hard way. Dropped the first 6-2, battled through a second set tiebreak, winning it 9-7, and then rattling through the decider by 6 games to love. So, congratulations, I think, in order for the 24-year-old Naomi Brodie from Stockport, home, of course, to one of Wimbledon's more famous sons, as you will know, Mr. Murray, Fred Perry.
And straight to Pat Murphy at Headingley.
Ian Bell is out, bowled off stump, jagged back, tired shot, tired minds, I'm sure, among the England batsmen. Prasad's 4th wicket, 52 for 4, the target 350, you can forget that, and there's a quarter of an hour left of this disastrous 4th day for England.
Yes, things have not gone well. When I had a look at the score when I woke up this morning, it seemed as though there was a fair chance that England might go on to victory, but now the opposite seems very likely. So Holland 0, Chile 0 here at the World Cup, and a free kick to Chile in the central third.
Game needs a goal, John, and we really could do with Chile scoring it as well, because it might bring Holland out. At the minute they're quite content to settle for 0-0, and sometimes when you get formations like this, you know, historically 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, whichever way you want to set it up, it is a defensive, you know, formation, always has been, and what you have here is 2 teams with one team trying to win the game at the minute.
Yes, a draw will do for the Dutch. That would take them through as group winners. We've just got to stop it here because Isla was caught by Kaut, who points to himself, and the referee Bakary Gassama from Gambia comes across and well, I'm not sure. I mean, Kaut just carried on after the challenge. I'm not sure how much intent there was on that, but Kaut, with that look to the referee, it was a butter wouldn't melt in his mouth look, and it's a free kick, and he's okay, Isla. Now what are Chile going to do here? A little bit of a discussion. Their set pieces have been really well worked, and this one here is going to be played back actually to Medel on the halfway line, and the Dutch move their line forward, and now Medel, his pass to the left hand side, and Mena nods it in field. Now Hara, his ball towards the edge of the box, that is won by De Vrij for the Dutch, and now Mena again with a cross into the penalty area that is nowhere near either Vargas or Alexis Sanchez, and is caught by Silleson, who underarms it out. Now De Jong here has a bit of space in front of him, and he uses it and gives it to Wijnaldum, and now to the right hand side with Jan Mat pouring forward. Lens is there as well, and it's Lens in possession. Lens's ball across the edge of the penalty area, Sneijder controls it, challenge comes in on him, Wijnaldum's there as well, but the Chileans arrive in numbers, and it is now Chile who counter-attack. Up the left hand side, Beausejour stretching his legs, 3 Chileans for him to aim at, but actually De Vrij does very well there and forces Beausejour to go all the way back into his own half.
Very disappointing from Beausejour. I mean, we've seen him in English football. He's very, very quick, John. He's 1v1 with De Vrij. Go and take him on. Go on, get beyond him and see if you can get behind the Dutch back 5.
Yes, but back he went into his own half. So Holland 0, Chile 0. And then Silva took his eye off the ball, and it's a throw into the Dutch, and Robin is looking to take it quickly. It's on our side of the field, in between the 2 brightly coloured dugouts. Throw in taken. Kaut sends his pass forward, but it's headed down by Wijnaldum straight to Marcelo Diaz, who finds Aranguiz, who I noticed just got a little bit of strapping on his right knee. Aranguiz, misplaced pass from Silva. The Dutch have got it back, and now Sneijder once again looks up as he receives the ball, gives it to Robin 10 yards away. Now to Kaut here on the left hand side. What experience there is there in that little triangle of Robin and Kaut and Sneijder. And Sneijder actually just pulls up after passing the ball and feels his right knee. and then just starts flexing it. The Dutch still in possession. The whistles from the Chilean supporters, and then Lens is just brought down by Hara with a challenge from behind, and it's a free kick to the Dutch out on the right.
Well, I'm not sure it's a free kick. Hara slipped. It was, if anything, it was accidental, but it was a nice passage of play there from the Dutch. You know, that was more like what we're accustomed to with the possession. It was slick, it was quick, a lot of one-touch stuff from one side of the pitch to the other, and maybe now they're taking a stinger to Chile, they're going more into the game.
Yes, free kick. Robin is the only contender to take it. Ian Robin plays it now left-footed into the penalty area towards the penalty spot. It's headed away, comes out to Schneider, who hits a shot, but that is blocked immediately by Isla, and the ball ricochets all the way to Blind, whose pass forward was charged down by Alexis Sanchez. Could have gone anywhere, and it's tidied up by De Jong all the way back towards goalkeeper Sillessen. So let's get another update from the test match in Leeds from Pat Murphy.
First ball, Liam Plunkett, night watchman, came in when Ian Bell was dismissed, given out, caught behind by Billy Bowden, who's had a bad a day as England have in the field. But Plunkett said, I didn't touch it, asked for the review, and he was vindicated. So Plunkett has survived. We are still 12 minutes or so to go, 52 for 4. Prasad has 4 for 11 in 5 overs.
And you can hear England's sorry tale continue with Test Match Special over on 5 Live Sports Extra. The Dutch, it's 0-0 here. 1-0 to Spain in the relatively meaningless game between the two sides, who will be going home after these matches today. Here is De Jong, back to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum's pass hits Bosejur, and then it's out of play off Wijnaldum for a throw into Chile, halfway inside their own half. Just wondering whether Louis van Gaal might be perhaps thinking about a change down there. I don't see any immediate movement, and I think that's him. I can see he's dressed in a grey suit today, and we can see through the back of the dugout, and he's just sitting down there with his lieutenants, as I say, Danny Blind and Patrick Kluivert among them. It is Chile with the ball, with Gary Medel, who looks up and goes for a long pass to Alexis Sanchez, and it's a great ball as well, right side of the penalty area. Sillessen comes. I think he got a little fingertip to the ball before he collided with Alexis Sanchez, or did he? No, that's been given as a goal kick. Well, Sillessen was flirting with conceding a penalty there. Well, Alexis Sanchez, from that excellent pass from Medel, was well, he did get a touch to it, but I think he tapped it back onto Alexis Sanchez, and from there it bounced behind for what was rightly given as a goal kick.
It was a good opportunity. It was a great ball by Medel, and for once Sanchez's first touch got away from him, and the ball over Blind, it was perfectly angled into the box, but he let it bounce and skip away from him.
And now Blind has bowled over Alexis Sanchez in the central third, just came in, knew what he was doing, and brought him down, and that's a yellow card for Daley Blind. So a free kick. Alexis Sanchez, who he'll have to get used to that sort of treatment because he's such an important player for Chile. And it's a free kick 10 yards inside the Dutch half. You see Gary Medel down there just taking the chance to have a swig of water, but a free kick that Diaz is going to take.
I didn't need to see if Chile put this in the box because of the lack of height. Normally they either work it wide and try to bring the ball in from a different angle. It looks like they're going to pop it in here.
Yes, it is. Diaz to take it. Well, the Chilean supporters are on their feet. They're waving their red, white and blue flags. Diaz plays it in. It bounces beyond the far post. Alexis Sanchez was there. Alexis Sanchez up against Lens. Nutmegs him. Sanchez shoots it, saved by Sillessen. And the angle was extremely tight, straight at him, and the Dutch keeper just put up his gloves and patted it down. And it's a free kick, actually, after the ball was cleared. But Alexis Sanchez, wonderful stuff against Lens. And Sillessen kept it out. So still Holland 0, Chile 0, and Alistair Bruce Ball can give us the latest on Australia-Spain.
Just about 20 minutes gone in the second half. Spain still leading Australia by the goal to nil. This game very much has got the dead rubber feel about it in the second half. David Villa scored the goal in the first half. He's now played his last football for his country. Brad Friedley was taken off, substituted 10 minutes into the second half. Juan Mata came on. He looked very, very emotional, but also unhappy about it. It took him ages to leave the field.
It did, and there's actually not many other talking points other than that. And when he went off, I don't think he looked sad. I think he looked very upset that he was substituted in the 56th minute. It looked like he was being consoled by one of the members of staff on the bench.
His goal separates the two teams, his 59th and his last for Spain. It's Australia 0, Spain 1.
This time tomorrow, you'll be listening, if you are with us on 5 Live, to the England-Costa Rica game. But here come the Dutch with Robin. Robin running through the middle, forced out wide, into the box, shoots low, goalkeeper Bravo got down. It was well struck, it bounced off him, but it bounced to Medel, and Chile were able to clear it. Neil Lennon.
Robin's absolutely brilliant to watch. You know, there's no other thought in his mind just to pick up that ball and drive at people. And again, it came from a mistake. Again, easily give the ball away in a bad area. He's picked it up. Robin drove, going past a couple of passes in a great shot. Bravo makes a save. And just earlier, brilliant bit of skill by Sanchez, the nutmeg. And I think that was the first shot on target that Chile have had.
Yes. Well, Chile coming forward. Ball played over the top of Vargas in the area, and it bounces through for a goal kick. So remains 0-0 in these final matches in Group B. So it would be Holland who would go through as group winners as it stands, and then we'll see what happens in Brazil's group tonight. And the England game against Costa Rica kicks off 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, live from Belo Horizonte, and you'll hear that on 5 Live. And of course, right across Italy, Uruguay as well, in what is such a big game for Italy and Uruguay. One of them will be going out. And in the build-up to the Brazil game tonight, we'll hear the latest from Ian Dennis, who will be reporting live from the England team hotel, as he has done throughout the tournament. Here is Lenz, who can't get away from Hara. And now Aranguiz is fouled, and it's a free kick to Chile inside their own half. We have got just over a quarter of the match to go, and I think Chile now are thinking about making at least one change. Is that Valdivia? Yes, it is, who's coming on. And he's going to, and also Depay, I think, is going to come on for the Dutch. Yes, he is. Memphis Depay, who scored the winning goal, as it turned out, against Australia in the previous group match. So Holland 0, Chile 0. Interesting to see what Valdivia can come up with, whether he's going to be able to unlock the Dutch defence if they can get him onto the ball. And of course, remember, no Arturo Vidal for Chile tonight. They've rested him. They're looking after him for the group for the knockout stages. But he has Alexis Sanchez. He's skipping away from a couple of challenges that then Aranguiz can't keep it in on the far side.
It's just been the story of this game. You know, a lot of good build-up work, and then just that final pass or decision making has let either side down. But the game's starting to open up a little bit. I think there might be a bit of fatigue starting to creep in. But we've seen chances now in the last 5 minutes at both ends.
Right, who's going to make way for Memphis Depay first of all? Still waiting to see the board come up. In fact, we've got 2 substitutions here, so it might be a good time just to go back to Pat Murphy at Headingley.
We thought that another wicket had fallen now. Joe Root, the ubiquitous and excellent Prasad, the bowler, at 53 for 4. Root made it quite clear he felt he got nowhere near the ball down the leg side, but given out by umpire Billy Bowden. Again, Bowden's decision has been overturned on the TV review. Root survives, 53 for 4, the target 350. I'll be interested, John, to see if they claim the extra half an hour shortly, Sri Lanka.
Thank you, Pat. Well, it's Jermaine Lenz who has been withdrawn by Louis van Gaal, so Memphis Depay is on for him, and he's just being given a hearty slap on the back as he takes his seat on the bench. And we're still waiting for that Chile change to be made, which will be their second change. Play has continued. I think Sampaoli, the Chile coach, is asking why that change wasn't made at the same time as the Dutch made their substitution, and Van Divia is waving his arms around there on the touchline with the 4th official.
Do you know, as a manager, that is one of the most frustrating aspects of the game. When you want to make a change, the 4th official knows you want to make it, but they don't get round to doing it, and there's no explanation as to why.
And it's actually already being announced. inside the stadium and on the big screen as well, the change, which is Francisco Silva, who is off, and Valdivia is on. That's gone down well with the Chileans. I think Alistair Bruce Ball has news of another goal in the other match in the group.
Spain are going to leave this World Cup with a victory. Fernando Torres has made it 2-0 against Australia. Andres Iniesta pulling the strings again. Lovely little through ball. Torres took the chance very, very well. Spain the better team, Brad Friedel.
Yeah, they're winning this at a canter now. Great weighted pass again by Iniesta in between the centre half and the right back. Torres comes in on the goalkeeper's right hand side, calmly side foots it to the goalkeeper's left, low into the side netting.
Australia 0, Spain 2.
Just like the good old days for Spain again. Villa and Torres scoring the goals, winning 2-0, but heading home after this match. So the Chile change, Silva off and Valdivia on. The number 10, El Mago, they call him, the magician, playboy, extrovert. Let's see what he does here.
Looks like Chile have gone to their back four now, with Silva coming off. Isla's gone to right back. We've got Medel and Hara at centre half and men at left back.
20 minutes to play, and Chile, Sampaoli the coach, clearly feel that they've got to give it a bit of a go to try and win the group, and we expect avoid Brazil. But it's a free kick to the Dutch, 10 yards inside their own half. Out on the right hand side, De Vrij to take it. Here he is, right-footed, long, aiming for the newly arrived Depay, who has replaced Lenz up front. And now Chile up towards Valdivia, who looks to play a pass immediately through the middle, but hits it straight at De Vrij, who just took it in his midriff. Now the ball to Schneider. Might be some spaces now. Chile now playing with the back four, as Neil Lennon just told you. Kaut infield towards Depay, who was put under pressure by Diaz and passes it straight out of play for a Chile throw.
Again, it's getting a bit scrappy. Valdivia, first touch was beautiful, second touch not so good.
For the Mexico game is anything to go by. Robin has run the ball back, and now Robin with Medel all over the back of him. Robin goes down to earth in that way that almost only Iron Robin can, with arms and legs, making sure that he wins the free kick. I mean, Medel did have his hands around him, but Robin made absolutely sure he won the free kick.
Yeah, but it's crazy from Medel. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't need to win the ball, just shepherd him away. And he's been too anxious to try and win the ball off Robin. Now, this is a great opportunity again for Holland. Sorry, John, it's interesting. I'll just say quickly, they were man-to-man in the first half. Now they've gone, and then zonal on one of them. Now they've gone back to man-to-man again on defensive free kicks.
Yeah, that's Chile, the way that they're doing it. Two-man wall. Schneider to take this free kick. If the Dutch score this, you would say they would almost certainly win the group. Schneider still waiting. Lots of movement. Referee waiting. Here's the whistle. Schneider will angle it in with his right foot from the left-hand side. A group of 4 Dutch players gathered on the far side of the penalty area. Count the furthest forward of them. And now the movement begins again. Schneider waits. Schneider now delivers the free kick. In it goes. It takes a flick off a Chilean head and over into the Dutch fans. It bounces. And it's a corner. Before that corner's taken, Pat Murphy at the test match.
Liam Plunkett, the night watchman, has got himself out in ridiculous fashion. It's the last ball of the day. England have closed on 57 for 5, needing 350 to win. They were 39 without loss. But what Plunkett, the night watchman, is doing, trying to play a flowing off drive against Herath, the spinner, in the last over, is totally beyond me. That brainless dismissal sums up a shocking performance from England today. 57 for 5, 350 the target, and Sri Lanka justifiably euphoric down in front of me on the outfield.
Thank you, Pat. So that's the end of the play for today. We'll hear Pat's interviews, all of the various interviews that he does. We'll play them to you after 7 o'clock UK time tonight. And then tomorrow's action resumes 10:25 on 5 Live Sports Extra, the commentary on Test Match Special. The Dutch corner was delivered in, and it was headed wide by Dirk Kuyt in amongst a group of players, and the Dutch have taken off Schneider and brought on Leroy Fair of Norwich City in his place. So I suspect Neil Lennon, Schneider being protected for the last 16. Here's Robin, who plays it round one side of Menor and goes round the other, but then his pass to Janmaat is cut out and it's out of play for what is given as a Dutch throw, which is sent Medel into convulsions of fury. But the throw-in is being taken by the Dutch, and they go back into their own half. Neil,
I think Flair, has come up just to shore up the midfield now. Looks like Van Gaal's settled for a point, or maybe just to try and nick it 1-0.
And that is that's the second Dutch change, isn't it? They've both made 2 substitutions now. And now here is Depay, drops his shoulder, goes past Medel, shoots, and it's on target, and Bravo had to leap high to help it over the bar with his right glove.
The game's getting stretched now, John, with Chile trying to go for it, which is what we expected. Now their gap's opening up for Holland. That was a brilliant turn from Depay. Lovely little sidestep past one defender and a cracking shot, although it was straight down the throat of Bravo, and it was a comfortable enough save, but there's plenty of power and movement behind that shot.
Holland 0, Chile 0. So Holland going through as group winners if it stays like this. Corner taken, played in by... Oh, and it's headed in! It's headed in! And the Dutch take the lead! And Leroy Fair, who's only just come onto the field, scores the goal. A free header inside the 6-yard box to give the Dutch the lead and surely send them through into the last 16 as group winners. Holland 1, Chile 0.
Well, you always felt a set piece might be Holland's best way of scoring, and they've caught Chile cold. They've taken it short to Janmaat. Janmaat's put in a beautiful ball, and Fair's arrived late and smashed in a marvellous header. I think that's his first touch in the game, John. What a substitution from Van Gaal. We'll be talking about that tonight after the game. Oh, it's a wonderful ball in, and his movement's fantastic, and it goes above, I think it's Diaz, and he plants a beautiful header into the far corner past Bravo.
Well, it's his first touch, we think, at this World Cup, his first appearance at the tournament, and it's also his first international goal as well. What a great moment for Leroy Fair of Norwich City, and certainly the Dutch. I'm looking down there now at Louis van Gaal, who's just rubbing his hands together. The big, thick-necked coach of Holland and soon to be Manchester United, with satisfaction, as though he's just downed a refreshing pint of Dutch lager and enjoyed it thoroughly. He's licking his lips.
Well, the game needed a goal. We've got one, but not the way we wanted it to go, in terms of a neutral point of view. So it looks as if Holland, going to be the winners of the group, and they will get the avoidance, first of all, of Brazil. The other factor into this is they'll get an extra day's rest, and that's probably very important in this tournament.
Yes, so the Dutch as winners of the group, but Chile coming forward. The ball played across the penalty area, but fortunately Vlaar was there to clear it away out of play. So the Dutch as winners of the group would go to Fortaleza on Sunday, whereas Chile as runners-up would go to Belo Horizonte to play on Saturday. Obviously, those 2 games will be commentaries here on 5 Live. But, we are very much assuming that it will be Brazil who do the job tonight and finish on top of the group. What a shock, what a surprise it would be were that not to be the case. Here's Alexis Sanchez, who plays it forward, but it's blocked. And it is the Dutch supporters you can hear at the moment. Chile coming forward. Going to get another update from Wimbledon in a moment or two. But here is Valdivia, who shapes himself and plays the pass down to Menor on the left-hand side, whose cross is deflected behind for a corner to Chile on the left-hand flank. Let's see what happens here before we go to Wimbledon.
Holland have been so well organised defensively today. They've really done a number on Chile. Tactically, they've been set up very, very well. And, they've got the goal from a set piece, which is, that must delight Van Gaal. The communication at the back, Vlaar's, led that back line very, very well. There's going to be a couple of substitutions here in a minute, but I think we'll see the corner first.
Yeah, the Chilean number 9, Pinilla, is going to come on for their final change. But Alexis Sanchez taking the corner from the left-hand side, and there must be at least 12 players inside the 6-yard box here, and one of them has gone down. It looks as though it's going to be Vargas to make way. I think the referee's electronic board has been spotted. Meanwhile, just behind us, the man from Chilean radio is making his way out to go and do his interviews after the game. Corners played in, but well defended by De Jong, who went with Medel, who was looking to flick it on behind for another corner from the left-hand side. So Alexis Sanchez is backed up against the hoardings. In fact, we're going to see the change before the corner is taken. So Eduardo Vargas comes straight off the field, and Mauricio Pinilla, who started the first game against Australia but didn't play against Spain. Pinilla is on, the number 9, and here he is making a nuisance of himself already. Medel flicks it on, it's blocked on the line. Clear it back to the edge of the penalty area, and then Diaz hits the shot, but snatched at it and sent it wide. Very close to an equaliser for Chile. More on that from Neil Lennon in a moment. But Holland leading Chile by 1-0. And back to Wimbledon we go, and an update on Novak Djokovic's progress from Alistair Eakin.
He's been a man on a mission today, John, showing absolutely no mercy against Andrei Golubev of Kazakhstan. He won the first 2 sets for the loss of just a single game. It was 6-4 in the third, moving beautifully, really crisp ball striking and menacingly impressive. The top seed through to round 2 to play Radek Stepanek.
And that header, the Chile attempt there that was flicked on at the near post was blocked on the line by De Vrij, and it actually struck him on the upper left arm, but there was nothing he could do about it. I mean, there's no way that could have been given as a penalty.
No, the ball's hit him at such pace and he's not even looking at the ball, but it was a poorly hit corner, but it was flicked on by Valdivia, and it came off De Jong's head, and it was almost a spectacular own goal.
So Holland 1, Chile 0. We're into the last 10 minutes of this game. In case you weren't listening earlier, England closing the fourth day of the Test match on 57 for 5 in their second innings, and seemingly on the way to defeat against Sri Lanka. Play resumes in the morning, and coverage on 5 Live Sports Extra from 10:25, and all of the reaction to come later on in the evening on 5 Live as soon as we have it. So Holland winning 1-0 against Chile, and back the ball goes to Bravo in the goal to our left, which is where the massed ranks of the Orange, the Dutch supporters, have found themselves in the usual garb, which exactly matches the Dutch players down there today. The Dutch all in orange, and the supporters all in orange. Here is Isla on the right hand side for Chile, who will have to score a couple of goals without reply in the remaining 7.5 minutes if they are to go through as group winners. As it stands, the Dutch will win the section, and the long clearance from Vlaar, stretch forward by Depay, who turns infield and is tripped by Isla, so it's a free kick. Yeah, it's the usual scene in amongst the Dutch supporters. It is all orange in there. There are some of them with full Edam cheeses on their heads, orange trilby hats. We've got the orange miners' helmets that we've seen over the years, orange boiler suits, orange dungarees. There are even people in orange lounge suits. Where on earth in Holland you go to get an orange lounge suit? Goodness only knows. And as you mentioned right at the start, Neil, you described the scene as like a fruit bowl because of the colour that we've got inside this Sao Paulo stadium around us. It looks as though one supporter in the Dutch section has got a fruit bowl on her head. It is Chile coming forward with the ball on the left-hand side. Here is Valdivia, who slips a ball down the left-hand side. Mena with the cross, a flick from Aranguiz, but that takes it straight to the goal scorer, Leroy Fair. Relegated with Norwich City this season, but what a career high it was to score that goal. And Robin, who's off on a run, goes down but doesn't win the free kick with 6 minutes to go. And so Valdivia, with his black hair tied back in a little bun at the back of his head. Valdivia turns and then passes via a deflection off De Jong, and then Diaz up towards the newly arrived Pinilla. Diaz puts his foot on the ball and switches play out towards the left-hand side. A touch from Beausejour. There's lots of space on the left-hand side for Mena. Control. Then a cross, but it's straight onto the head of Ron Vlaar, who actually heads it straight up in the air inside the penalty area. Beausejour jousting for it with De Vrij, and it bounces off and is cleared away. Chile once again have it though, and now Isla might try a shot. He does, right-footed, and it hits Valdivia in an offside position, so the flag was up and a free kick. And then there's a confrontation between Pinilla and Blint, and Vlaar actually steps in between them and calms it down. And I mean, with a game in the last 16 to play for both of these teams, if they got themselves involved in, potential red card situation, that would be absolute craziness.
Totally unnecessary. And Valdivia was clearly offside from the shot from Niesler anyway. So, I mean, again, the officials got that one spot on. You were talking about the Dutch fans. The Chile fans have gone very, very quiet, but now all of a sudden they're starting to raise their voices again. Although, to be fair, they haven't had much to shout about this second half.
We're into the last 5 minutes. Holland winning 1-0. Another goal in the Australia-Spain game, Alistair Bruce Ball. There has been another goal in the Australia-Spain game, and we'll tell you about it when we can. But it is Chile who have got the ball in the centre circle. And we'll get you that news as soon as we can. But Chile coming forward with Valdivia, whose pass is whacked away downfield by Vlar. And we can now get that goal news from Alistair Bruce Ball.
Juan Mata, the goal scorer for Spain. Australia 0, Spain 3. Lovely curling cross from Fabregas into the far post, and a cheeky little nutmeg finish from Mata through the legs of Matt Ryan. Too little, too late, but Spain cruising to a win, and poor old Australia, having played well in this tournament, particularly in their first 2 games, are going to go home without a point. Australia 0, Spain 3 into the last 5 minutes.
1-0 to the Dutch here in Sao Paulo in the extremely colourful stadium with mainly red, orange and yellow. Those are the touchstone colours for this game. The ball takes a deflection out of play for a corner to Chile, and now is that
down McCramp. That seems to have been a feature of this World Cup. I watched the Russia game yesterday, Russia against Belgium, and some of their players were going down McCramp after 56 to 60 minutes, which I found very strange.
Well, it is Dirk Kuyt's first action today at this World Cup, and he is 34 next month. The Fenerbahce man is here now.
He's done remarkably well, John, when you consider he's playing left
wing back. I wonder if he's ever played as left wing back before. We'll maybe have the chance to do that when they do their interviews after the game and ask him if that's the case. Corner, Alexis Sanchez for Chile. Takes it to the near post, and an outstretched leg from Fair sends it behind for another corner. Again from the right flank. Just stuck out an almost telescopic leg to take it past the near post. Alexis Sanchez again, cleared away by Jan Mat, and Bravo has come almost into the Dutch half to field that with his right foot. Forward to Pinilla, now to the left hand side. Mena lifts it across. The Dutch fail to clear. Alexis Sanchez has got it away from Kout. Then a heavy challenge comes in on him from De Jong. Well, he took the ball, but he took the man as well, as is the De Jong way, and it is a corner, no more than that.
He got on the wrong side of Kuyt, got his body in between Kuyt and the ball, but it's a smash and tackle from De Jong. Read the situation brilliantly, got his body there, got his foot up. Sometimes you see them giving us free kicks, but he's clearly won the ball, and now it looks like Kuyt is about to leave the pitch.
Make way, so the final change for the Dutch. Dirk Kuyt leaves, and Terence Congolo of Feyenoord, another of the Dutch youngsters that Louis van Gaal has sprinkled his squad with, is going to come on for his first experience of the World Cup. So off goes Kuyt, who looks as though he's jiggered, to coin a phrase, and on comes Congolo. Corner for Chile. Alexis Sanchez takes it. It's gone a long way. No one really made a meaningful contact. And now the ball is played in from the left-hand side, and it is deflected wide. Now, who got the touch? It was Medel, who was there with the touch from 7 yards out, but as he fell, he did so, and he headed it wide by a couple of yards.
I think there's a chance, John. De Jong totally missed the flight of the ball, and I don't know if Medel didn't see it so late. He's 8 yards out. De Jong's trying to claim a free kick. He didn't see it till late, and the ball came off his head and wide. The feature of the second half has been Sanchez's corners. Because of the lack of height, he's fizzing them in quite low, and with a lot of spin on them, and hoping that somebody will get across to get a touch on them. They're not your conventional type of corner that we normally see.
So we're in the last minute. Holland winning 1-0 against Chile. Leroy Fair heading the only goal in the 77th minute for this Dutch side that is being cheered now. The Dutch tricolour being waved around in amongst all of that orange. It's easily able to be picked out. And now Pinilla, big burly Pinilla, strong man. Certainly gives them something a little different, Tania. Now the ball to the right-hand side to Alexis Sanchez, much more like the rest of his teammates, nippy and busy. And he wins a throw-in here on the right-hand side that is taken by Isla. Now to Sanchez. 3 minutes of added time, we're into that. Holland on the way to topping the group here. Valdivia plays it through to Isla. Isla's cross is deflected behind by the newly arrived Congolo for another corner to the Chileans.
He's not the most mobile of players, Valdivia, but he can certainly see a pass, and that's a couple of slide-rule balls he's put in behind the Dutch defence. Corner again.
If it is to be Brazil against Chile, if Brazil do their work tonight in our next commentary match, then I think that's going to be a really, really interesting game. You'll be watching that from afar, won't you, once you're on your plane home tomorrow, Neil? Corner for Alexis Sanchez to take for Chile. Here he is, played in, it's missed by Valdivia, who tried to head it above De Jong, cleared away by Fair, and then De Jong comes in on Valdivia, who collapses to the ground. Barely contact. No free kick, quite right. De Jong plays it downfield to Robben. Robben has a little look infield. Still Robben. Depay's available in the middle. Robben crosses it, and Depay is there to convert and complete the victory for the Dutch and take them through as winners of Group B. Holland 2, Chile 0.
Absolutely brilliant, John. And it's great awareness from Robben. As you said in your commentary, he looked up twice. He delayed the cross right until the last second perfectly, and Depay scores a tap-in. But Depay, I think, has been very, very impressive since coming on. But I have to say, Arjen Robben was just world-class wing play again.
I'm just wondering whether, perhaps the defender who was sliding in with Depay might have got a touch on that, but Depay celebrated it as though he'd got the all-important touch. But Robben is such an important player for Van Gaal's Dutch side, and I am pretty sure it was Depay who got the crucial touch. It was with his right instep. It's his goal. Depay, who scored the third goal against the Australians, scores the second goal against the Chileans.
Do you know what? He deserves it as well, John. If you see, the ground that that young man made up there, he must have run maybe 50, 60 yards, and he's hoping that Robben sees him. And he's hoping that Robben delivers, and Robben, being the world-class player and the world-class wingman and the world-class forward that he is, he delivered perfectly.
Yes, an excellent counter-attacking goal. So Holland winning 2-0 and on the way to victory now, and the Chileans begin to make their way out of the stadium. But the Dutch celebrate on. This Dutch team, this very unusual Dutch team today, Neil. And you know what's unusual about it? There is not a single van in the team, and I'm reliably informed that it is the first time for 221 games for the Dutch international team that they've not had someone with a van in their surname in the side. First time since 1996. Ball is played in for Chile, but the game's up now, 2-0 down with only seconds left. They've had some great vans over the years, haven't they?
That's like Scotland not having a Mac.
It is very similar, whether it's Van Nistelrooy or Van der Vaart or whoever you choose. But the final whistle has gone for this vanless Dutch side that has won the match, with their manager Louis van Gaal, of course, standing down there with a big smile on his face. The two of the substitutes scored the goals for Van Gaal, Fair and Depay, in the last 15 minutes of the game. So it means that the Dutch will now head to Fortaleza, up onto the northeast coast, for their second round match, their list 16 match on Sunday against the runners-up in Group A, and Chile will go to Belo Horizonte to play probably Brazil on Saturday. But the final score here in Sao Paulo, it's Holland 2, Chile 0, and it's back to Rio and Jonathan Overend.
Thank you to John Murray and Neil Lennon. It sets us up nicely, doesn't it? I mean, if it is to be Brazil against Chile, I mean, that could be such a great occasion. The fans will make it, undoubtedly, but how will Chile be able to respond from this setback, do you think?
Well, that's a very good question, Jonathan. I mean, I have to, tip my hat to Louis van Gaal today. He got his tactics spot on. There was none of this short passing in midfield and allowing Chile to press or any sort of messing around at the back. They played disciplined, tactical, defensive football, and then they relied on the quality of Robben and Lenz in the first half. And then Depay, when he came on, he made a huge difference to the attacking impetus that Holland had in the second half. And 2 substitutes scored, which will please Van Gaal even more so. Chile will have to pick themselves up. I mean, they still tried to force the game at times, but they look a little bit flat and they look a little bit blunt. And I think that's more to do with the way that Van Gaal set Holland up today rather than the way Chile have been playing.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Stay there. More from you in a minute. Holland 3 wins out of 3 then in Group B after that 2-0 victory. And what about Spain? Have they salvaged some pride? Alistair Bruce Ball.
I guess you could say that, yes. Final score in Curitiba, Australia 0, Spain 3. A comfortable win for the world champions, as they'll remain for a couple of weeks. They had a very sloppy first 15 minutes of the game. They really didn't look interested. David Villa got them ahead in the first half, though, with a really clever improvised backflip finish from Juan Fran's cross. That's Villa's last game and goal for his country, finishing his international career with a Spanish record 59 goals. But he looked a very unhappy man early on in the second half when he was taken off to be replaced by Juan Mata. Mata got the 3rd goal for Spain after Torres had scored the 2nd. But I have to say it was pretty humdrum stuff this afternoon on a terrible playing surface, and a disappointing end to the World Cup as well for Australia, who just couldn't find the performance levels that they showed in their first 2 games. They're building for the future though, and the signs do look good after this tournament, but it really is watershed time for Spain. Possibly Del Bosque's last game in charge, and you imagine that might be it for the likes of Casillas, Xabi Alonso. We know it is for David Villa, and I guess for Spain now the inquest can really begin into their hugely disappointing defence of the World Cup. Final score here, Australia 0, Spain 3.
Brad Friedel was watching. A word for Australia, Brad, because they more than played their part in this group stage, didn't they? But they end with no points from 3 games, which is a little harsh.
Yes, it is. I mean, in the first 2 games, I thought they were excellent at periods. I think they didn't start very well against Chile, but in the second half, at times, they were the far better team, and they really rattled Chile. I thought against Holland, they were excellent value. They could have been 3-2 up themselves in that game, and then down to a bit of a goalkeeping error by Matty Ryan, who is a young goalkeeper, and he's a very good goalkeeper. But he made a little bit of a mistake, and they went down narrowly 3-2 in that game. Today it looked like they were trying to start the game with high energy levels. It just didn't pan out. After about the 20th minute, Spain just took advantage of this game. Once Spain went 1-0 up, this really was just a friendly match of sorts that just petered out. I'm glad that the scoreline stayed to 3-0, because it really could have been 4, 5 or 6, and that would not have reflected how well Australia did in the first 2 games.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Brad Friedel there watching Spain against Australia. More with Neil Lennon just before 7 o'clock. Other sport happening today. The cricket has taken quite a turn if you haven't been following it at Headingley. England were in charge, but they end the day 57 for 5 in their second innings. Some awful shots late on and chasing 350 to win. That's not going to happen. Sri Lanka now strong favourites to bowl out England tomorrow on day 5 and win the Test match. Back to Wimbledon we go. Dan Evans on court, watched by David Law.
Now this is a fairly stirring fight back at the moment from Dan Evans, who lost the first 2 sets 6-1, 7-5 against Andrei Kuznetsov, but he's won the 3rd set 6-3, and he's starting to mount a real bit of pressure in the 4th as well. 2 games all, and he has love 30 on his opponent's serve.
And what about the up-and-coming Brit Kyle Edmund on court 12, Gigi Salmon?
Well, I'm afraid that Kyle Edmund has gone the same way as fellow Brits Ward, Cox and Conter, and that is out of Wimbledon. He'll be disappointed that after saving set points in the 2nd set, he couldn't take advantage of his mini-break in the tie-break. Andreas Haider-Maurer then broke in the first game of the 3rd, while the 19-year-old's head was still down. Going on to wrap things up in straight sets, 6-3, 7-6, 6-2.
We'll hear from Andy Murray in around about 10 minutes' time, talking to Russell Fuller. Russell hosts a whole hour of coverage on 5 Live Sport from Wimbledon after 7 o'clock your time, including Aggers and Boycott, by the way, off their long runs, I'm sure, after that disappointing day for England's cricketers. Then it's Mark Chapman from 8 o'clock, hosting all the build-up to Brazil against Cameroon. That's our second commentary here from the World Cup, live from Brasilia. Brazil looking to top Group A yet again here in Rio. Very quiet this afternoon because everyone gets the day off when Brazil are playing. That's how it works, and I'm sure the streets will be absolutely packed in a couple of hours' time for that Brazil final group match. So off to Wimbledon shortly, but Neil Lennon before that. It's goodbye to you, Neil. Thank you for all your great coverage with us here on 5 Live. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Oh, I've had a ball, Jonathan. It's been a real privilege, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. And it's amazing to see the amount of work that does go behind the scenes with the BBC and the logistics and the size of the operation that you've had to undertake here.
Absolutely. I mean, thanks for that one. And in terms of the standout moment, I suppose you can't top the Messi goal, can you?
Well, that was an amazing moment from an amazing player. But I've just enjoyed
in terms of being there moments.
Yeah, but to see the Argentina fans and the Chile fans and the Maracanã, being in the Maracanã was pretty special as well. And to see the South American culture of football, which is something that we don't often get to see. I've never been to South America before, and to see the South American culture of football in its home has been absolutely fantastic. We're sort of blanketed by the European culture of football and the European ways, but to see the South Americans and their supporters come and the noise and the colours has been absolutely fabulous. And the teams have played some great football as well.
You don't get this on a rainy Saturday afternoon in Falkirk, do you? What's your next move? Because you left Celtic in May, of course. Are you heading back to try and find a club, Neil?
Yeah, I just felt it was a good time for me to leave Celtic after 4 wonderful years, and I just felt like I needed a new challenge. It was a brilliant club, fantastic support. I've had great success there, so I'm still relatively young in manager's terms, and I want to try something else now.
Had any offers yet?
No, not yet, Jonathan. I'd love to give you an exclusive, but I can't.
And by the way, your number if you want.
By the way, Jonathan, you admitted to use the phrase "no disrespect to Falkirk."
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Which is required in those circumstances.
Lovely part of the world, absolutely. Thank you very much indeed, Neil, and safe trip back.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
And John Murray, thank you. Where do we find you?
The World Cup 2014 in Brazil. This is SJ Radio.
Okay, so results for Group B today. With Australia and Spain. Australia 0, Spain 3. And for the Netherlands and Chile, it was Netherlands 2 and Chile 0. Today with So we're coming up now, we're going to try and get Australia versus Spain.
The World Cup 2014 in Brazil. This is SJ Radio.